I did put out another episode of the Esports Gospel today. Not a great one, not one of the best, not an episode that's going to stand the test of time. It's 30 minutes rambling sort of incoherently about the nature of the industry and what this buyout and subsequent monopoly means in the CSGO world. And then we talk about the RMR rules for a while, and then we talk about Dustgate. Dustgate isn't, like, listen, Dust Moret hasn't been near the fish again, right? That's not what Dustgate is. Dustgate is something that's going on over in Hearthstone, and you you should look into it, because it's just another thing that Activision Blizzard are fucking up right before your eyes. I mean, they're just a terrible. They can't do anything right. Basically, the long and the short of it is, and I talk about this on the podcast, and I might make a video about it separately when we get to the denouement, right? What they did was, in North America, there were some people that were entitled to some dust, and if you've ever played Hearthstone, I'm sure some of you have. No one does now, so don't worry about it. Dust is essentially the in-game. I don't want to call it a currency, but it's like an item that you can use to essentially craft cards that you need. So you don't have to buy them in packs with real money. You can craft a specific card if you have dust. And generally, the rule around Hearthstone is when a card lapses into the Hall of Fame, i.e. it goes out of circulation because they do it on a biannual basis, or it's too overpowered and it just got to go, like, Ice Block or whatever the fuck, or Sylvanas, which, by the way, wouldn't even be overpowered by today's standards. They go in the Hall of Fame and nobody can sort of use them in competitive play anymore. You have to go to what they call wild mode, where anything flies. So anyway, every time they do that, you get dust back. And you use that dust to then craft cards from the newer sets. So anyway, for whatever reason, some motherfuckers in North America were entitled to some dust, right? And instead of just giving those few people who were entitled to it the dust, the algorithmoid, because they don't do it automatically, it's not like some in customer support pressing a button. They have an algorithm that determines which accounts get it. The algorithmoid completely fucked up and gave a ton of cats dust that weren't supposed to have dust. And we're not talking little bits of dust. We're talking like 6,000 to 8,000 dust. So a lot of premium cards, which, by the way, if you know how the Hearthstone economy works, I might have had to buy like fucking 100 packs to get them cards, right? So now we're talking about millions of dollars of free shit, essentially, being given away. Not that the free shit has the value of $1 million or millions of dollars, but you would have had to spend millions of dollars to get that shit equivalent on your account, right? What do you think Activision Blizzard do when they made this fucking heinous error and given too many people dust? They put out a tiny little statement on social media saying there may have been an error and some people might have got some dust and we're going to take it back. That instead of letting it ride, they took it back. But here's the problem. The people that got the dust and noticed they got the dust and spent the dust, they didn't lose any dust because they took their dust. If you took your dust down to zero and Activision Blizzard claimed it back, they can't take it from zero to a negative amount. The people that didn't spend the dust or spent a little bit of the dust and they had existing dust on their account, they got the dust wrenched back. And in some cases, they took too much and people were logging into their accounts and there was negative dust. It's just like the CS casting scene. Negative dust. So now, people got suspended for spending the dust because Activision Blizzard couldn't take it back. So they were like, they reflexively punished them and suspended them from their accounts. and then when they were appealing, they were just getting fucked off. They were like, "Oh, it's Dustgate. We're not dealing with that in customer support." So some people were legitimately suspended and didn't even know what the fuck was going, because there's been no official statement about it. So, here's how I handle it. You're Activision Blizzard, you just sold your piece of shit company for $95 on the share when your share price was like 50 something. You've nearly doubled your fucking share price. You basically got the peak share price for Activision Blizzard shares, essentially, when you got bought by Microsoft. None of this is going to matter. You're just keeping the wheels spinning until Phil Spencer gets in and Bobby Kotick goes. I mean, Phil Spencer in an interview was saying, you know what franchise I'd like to resurrect? Hexen. Like, oh, you're in for some wild times over at Activision Blizzard. So, wouldn't it be nice to just take a W for once if you're Activision? I know it's like, those motherfuckers go through the alphabet. They get to L, and that's where it ends, right? They just take so many L's, L after L after L. They don't know there's letters after L. There's a fucking W near the end if you just go. And so all you have to do here is, and this is just future reference, if Dustgate 2, Electric Boogaloo ever kicks off, is all you do. You let the Americans... Who are those Americans? You let the Americans keep the dust. You just let them keep it. And then, when Europe and all the other regions go, but why don't we get the dust too? Which obviously is going to happen. You then go, you know what? Yes, absolutely. Everyone gets dust. Why not? Who gives a fuck? Sure, you've just pissed essentially millions of dollars away. But, you got a new patch coming out. You got new content coming out. Why not just do that? Yeah, no one's even playing your game, for fuck's sake. I'm saying millions of dollars. It's probably like £50 and a bag of pork scratchings in real terms. So, yeah. As I said in the podcast, Activision Blizzard could fuck up a wet dream. It's actually incredible. I've never seen a company handle so much, so bad, so often... for years now. It's mental. Like, this is all you need to know. This is a time when we had all of that stuff over in FIFA, all of the loot box shit in Madden and all the Ultimate Teams. But actually, when it comes to most, hated and despised company, right now, it's Activision Blizzard beat EA. How do you beat EA? Like, how do you do that? It's fucking mad. So anyway, that's what Dustgate is. Go on Twitter, type in Dustgate, and just go to latest. It's fucking delicious. Brilliant. So ignore all that. We're not going to talk about Dustgate. I just did. Probably could make that a video, couldn't I? But maybe, I don't know, Griff, whatever.
I let you off